Now, if you're anything like me, you probably love a good 5.56 gas gun. The question is, what if we could split the difference? What if we could have something that had the attributes of a 5.56 gas gun in terms of weight and magazine size, but we had close to the performance of 6.5 Creedmoor? That is where we have 6mm arc. There are a lot of companies making great rifles, from Geisley to Noveske.
This is my Noveske N4 OG, and this is a 12.5 inch chambered in 6mm arc. If you couldn't tell by the intro, I saw quite a bit of videos on the 6mm arc, and so I decided to pick one up myself. And let me just start by saying that this thing is an absolute tack driver. Yesterday, I had some friends over and we were shooting this thing at 100 yards, and I'll roll some of the clips now. I just decided to group it. Mind you, all I have on here is a EOTech single dot and a EOTech 5x magnifier. And even today, as I was shooting, because it rained yesterday, the glass is filthy. It's certainly not like a Night Force scope or anything by that, anything like that. But it did the trick. So yesterday, out of a 4-round group, I was able to put up a 0.75 MOA out of this thing, which to me is crazy. I don't have any 6 arcs aside from this one. I didn't have any experience with this caliber aside from this one, and I just decided to mess around and see what kind of grouping we could get. And it is indeed sub MOA out of a 12.5 inch barrel. By the way, I am shooting the Hornady Match. This is their ELD Match 108 grain. I think it's got the polymer tip or whatever, but it is quite accurate in it. I did call Noveske when I purchased this thing to ask them what ammo runs best in it. That's what they suggested, and I would say based on that grouping that I would agree with that statement. But let's go over what I got here. So, starting from the back, I have a B5 Systems. This is their Stop Mod government stock. It's an awesome stock. It's nice and solid. It's got a good cheek weld on it. We have the B5 Systems. I believe this is a P23 grip. Also, this rifle, or I guess this pistol, in this configuration, it is a short barrel rifle because this is my SBR lower from my Knight's Armament SR15. It ships as a pistol, so it comes without a stock. Obviously, I like my dog being alive, so I went ahead and swapped it over to my already SBR lower. But I do have the same grip on here and trigger. This is the Geisley SDE, I believe it is. It's their flat bow trigger. So same trigger in both of these. Again, I already mentioned the EOTech 5x magnifier. This is the EOTech EXPS 3, I believe it's the -1 single dot. We have a B5 Systems vertical foregrip on here. The mod light, this is the PLH V2 on an Arasaka mount with the mod button, and the Noveske ships with flip up the Magpul metal flip up iron sights. For the suppressor, I don't have a 6 arc or a 6mm suppressor, dedicated one, so I'm currently running the Radical Defense LS3 on this thing, and I think it does a fantastic job at suppressing this monster of a caliber. We'll see in future videos potentially what a dedicated 6mm can will do, but for now this thing is working quite phenomenal. I mean, I really can't, like, I didn't know what to expect when I bought this thing, and to be able to, I'll overlay some of the shooting clips from today, to be able to just rapidly, I would consider it rapid fire, but to be able to just in rapid succession land, I think we did 29, so I did 19 rounds the first string of fire at 100 yards right here out of that target, and we were going for headshots. That's a regular size IPSC, I want to say, or maybe I'll have to look it up and I'll put it in there what size it is. And then I stretch it out to, it's about 146 yards from my front porch right there. I was in the prone, and we were able to knock down another 10 headshots in what I would consider to be rapid succession. And this thing just, I mean, it hits like a freight train. It is light. It's an AR-15 chassis. It's got a 12.5-inch barrel, so it's an SBR. And it's able to be, to put up sub-MOA groups. Now keep in mind, I have about 200 rounds on this thing so far, and I put a little bit of lube on the bolt carrier, but aside from that, I haven't put a snake down the bore. I haven't cleaned it at all. I put lube on it one time, and you can come here, I'll show you. This is what the bolt carrier looks like after about 200 rounds. And I haven't cleaned it yet. And we were able to just do that string of fire that we did today and put up a sub MOA grouping, just hanging out with my friends. I wasn't even really trying to go that crazy. I'll also show you what it looks like, because the dot that I was shooting out there is probably about, I don't know, a 3-inch dot or so. So it wasn't even the best target to be aiming at, because that could, you know, there's a lot of variance between the middle of the dot and the left side and the right side. But I mean, this thing's pretty crazy. So that's the good stuff. The only thing, I hate being like negative, but I'm gonna give you guys my honest feedback on guns and stuff that I purchased. And this really isn't a big deal, because like I said, this thing is an absolute freight train. It's super accurate, so this isn't a big deal. But on the Noveske lower, and keep in mind this will be, I'm gonna send it back to Noveske, and then likely when I get it back, I will probably sell it, because I just wanted the upper to begin with. But on the Noveske lower, come in here. Now I've eliminated every reason for it to be sticky, right? We took it off of the receiver. At first that's what I thought, it was a fitment between the upper and the lower. But you have to really push to get these pins out of the lower without any tension on the receiver itself or those pins. You can actually kind of see it's quite sticky when it goes in. So maybe that's just me being nitpicky. I am gonna send it back to Noveske, and if they look at it and say, yep, it's totally fine, then it is what it is. I will probably sell it to get my favorite ambi lower, which is the Radian ADAC lower. But that's just something I noticed out of the box. Is it a big deal to me? No, not really. I mean, this thing being able to put up the groups that it does and shooting like it does, I can really put this aside. Once I SBR this, or depending on if I get rid of it, then I'll toss it on there or keep it, I don't know. It ships with a pretty cool looking 20-round magazine. I did get a couple other magazines from Duramag. This is a Duramag that ships with the Noveske. Like I said, this is a 20-round. I think I got a couple straight 20-round 6-arc mags, excuse me, and also a couple curved, slightly curved 26-round mags. So I'm gonna shoot this thing some more, and you guys will probably see it in more videos. Maybe I'll take it out to, I don't know, 200, 300 yards or so, maybe even 5, so on and so forth. I really didn't know what to expect, being that this thing only has a 12.5-inch barrel, but my God, it is incredibly accurate. I don't even know how to put it into words. I was thoroughly impressed. I didn't know what to expect, but sub MOA with just regular old off-the-shelf box ammo, I think is pretty impressive. Out of a 12.5-inch, I'm gonna say it again, I've said it probably 100 times, 12.5-inch barrel. In fact, I'm gonna take this off to show you how short that is. Minus the bipod, right? Take that off. This is a stupid compact setup. Call it a DMR, call it an SPR. I mean, color me impressed. This thing's pretty awesome. So more to come from this thing. I really just wanted to hop on here. Yes, I saw a Grand Thumbs video, and yes, that piqued my interest. And I decided to try it out, and I am most certainly not disappointed. Oh, and I got, they include a ton of stuff in the box. but one of the things is a pretty sweet Noveske dad hat, and it even matches my look here. So I think I did forget the charging handle. This is a Gas Buster charging handle. I don't remember the name of the brand, but this is a Gas Buster charging handle. It does a great job in my opinion. You don't really need it with the reduced back pressure can, but I just like it because it's got big old arms and you can grab it nice and easy when you're sitting in the prone or whatever. But that's really all I got for you guys. I just wanted to hop on here and talk about how cool this thing was and how impressed I am with it. And hopefully you might find this information useful, and maybe you're looking into one of these things and what I showed you was helpful in some way, shape, or form. So that's all I got for you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you on the next one, which should be a T7 update or maybe another one of my guns I'll bring out and we'll do some playing around with. That's it.